Howdy, partners. Western month is ending. This is the last movie we're going to be reviewing for Westerns month here in August on the Heroes for Hire Comic Club movie night. This is arguably my favorite Clint Eastwood Western, The Outlaw, Josey Wales. It's also probably the most, how do I put this? It is probably the best movie from the point of view of the Confederate side in the Civil War, because it doesn't get into that whole lost cause bullshit that they, trust me, I'm from the South. I know about the lost cause thing. All right. Which, kind of romanticizes like, oh, well, look what they took. No, it doesn't really do that. But anyway, something that happened yesterday that really affected me and a lot of people, unless you're just a real asshole, But if you don't like this lady, then I don't want to know you, honestly. Dolly Parton passed away yesterday. Now, I know she meant a lot to a lot of things to a lot of people, but being a boy that grew up, a young man in the Appalachian Mountains, and probably an hour and a half from where she was born, she's the closest thing we had to royalty. Somebody we can look to and be like, if she made it, maybe I can make it out of here. So I just wanted to give her a tribute because she was a very good lady, and she was a woman that could have been a billionaire, but she chose to give back and help people instead. And I think we should more be like that instead of trying to buy the Washington Post or going around buying Twitter. Maybe we should go and help kids learn how to read better. So anyway, Dolly, this is for you.
You're supposed to sop up gravy with your biscuit.
I don't want to use my biscuit to sop up some gravy. I got other plans for my biscuit, and they involve butter. That's good.
I'm just watching you get undressed is the best part.
The best part?
Well, maybe not the best part, but in the top two.
Now, would I want to disappoint my little honey? People treat me like some dime store floozy.
No,
they think I'm screwing the boss.
That's not it at all.
Oh, and you just love it, don't you? It gives you some sort of cheap thrill, like knocking over pencils and picking up papers.
Now, let's don't get excited.
You look like a moving violation.
Well, when you stop wearing pants, I can see your pulse through. We got something to talk about.
I didn't think she knows. There's so much that's got to be loved.
This just doesn't make any sense. No sense at all.
I just keep thinking about what an L says. The Lord works in mysterious ways. I've been forgiven and forgetting because of the way I was brought up, but I'll tell you one thing. If you ever say another word about me or make another indecent proposal, I'm going to get that gun of mine, and I'm going to change you from a rooster to a hen with one shot.
Anyway, we'll miss you, Dolly. And also, before we bring out the guest, another guy I call a man of many faces. I mean, this guy was a legend, Tim Curry. I mean, look at this. He just was a stage actor, performer. He was just a great performer. He was in Rocky Horror Picture Show, Home Alone 2, Legend, It. He was It, for God's sake. I think it's Three Musketeers. But anyway, I saw a clip. I was trying to find something that, that I liked about one of the movies. I was trying to find a good quote real quick, and I was in a hurry because it kind of happened all of a sudden today. But I thought I'd play this from Legend.
You're nothing but an animal.
We are all animals, my lady. Most are too afraid to see it.
Oh, there we go. So rest in peace, Tim Curry. And I think I'm going to have to review Legend in the near future after Horror Fest is over with, for sure. And maybe, I don't know if we can get some volunteers, maybe we'll review 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton. All right, let's bring on the guest here. I'm going to bring on my man John. I'm going to bring him on first because he's been giving me a hard time over, I had told him I didn't have anybody for the show. And when that was
just you and me, right? Nobody.
If we were on the Maury Povich show, he said he had nobody to help him review it.
This was a lie.
This was proven to be a lie. Yeah. So I know it's not the first time you have seen Outlaw Josey Wales.
No,
We'll get into
I
that.
obviously I own it. It is one of the great Clint Eastwood westerns. So I was very excited to have a chance to rewatch this with my one of my daughters.
And I'm going to ask everybody this when we bring them on, briefly. What are your thoughts about Dolly Parton and Tim Curry?
Oh, look, I think I read a statistic for Dolly that I will definitely keep in my brain, which is that she and her Imagination Library organization distributed 500 million books to kids in her lifetime. If you're ever feeling like, oh, people aren't doing enough for literacy, Dolly was out there. She was doing it. People growing up in a home, she grew up in a home that couldn't afford to have books on the shelves and things for the kids to read. She ensured that there were 500 million books in kids' hands. And that's incredible. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about her amazing singing, writing, performing, any of that. On the other side, for the Tim Curry side, that was not the 1-2 punch I really wanted to be having these last couple of days.
No.
And one of my favorite quotes about him is that, he and Michael Caine were the best actors in Muppet movies because Michael Caine treated the Muppets like they were performers, and Tim Curry treated himself like he was a Muppet.
Yeah, like if anybody deserved to be an honorary Muppet, it would have been Tim Curry, right?
He is so great. Yeah. Of course, you mentioned Rocky Horror and Legend. Home Alone. He's great. Home Alone 2. Sorry, Home Alone 2 as the head of the hotel. Just somebody that could do comedy in Clue or whatever, and somebody that could do drama and science fiction and all the things.
He was a great character. He was just like, you could tell he had a stage actor background.
And he did a lot of voice work too, a ton of voice acting too.
Yep. All right. Thanks, John, for being here. I appreciate it. Fable. I'm gonna bring Fable on next. He's one of my co-conspirators in this horror fest with Robbie and Ollie's crazy thing. They want to start the Halloween celebration in August, but it's all right. It's all right. We're here for it. Fable Station, man.
Station, what's up?
What are your you have any memories about Dolly Parton or Tim Curry?
Well, in Dolly's side of things, I didn't see too much of her, right? I didn't grow up with her much. But one of my mom's favorite movies that she kept on repeat was The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. And I've seen that movie a billion times. And I remember as a little kid, one of my first crushes was that woman, man. It's like, what a goddess. Oh my God. She is gorgeous. And then, later I found out she was a country singer and she's been doing it for years, and a beautiful voice, and then all the stuff with the kids and the books. So rest in peace to Dolly, man. She was an amazing talent. And I know she meant a lot to a lot of people. I as evidenced by my Instagram feed. I mean, the outpouring. Nobody has a negative thing to say about that woman. So yeah, rest in peace, Dolly. Tim Curry is somebody I'm probably a little more familiar. He's a little more in my wheelhouse. It scared the living crap out of me as a kid. And I fell in love with him right at that moment. And I had seen Legend before it, but I didn't know that was Tim Curry. The makeup job was so amazing that he just lost in that makeup. And when I found out that was him, I was like, holy smoke, man. I loved him even more. And of course, Rocky Horror Picture Show. And who could forget him in Home Alone 2, man?
Hey, Bruce.
He was so freaking good in Home Alone 2. He made that movie for me. So yeah, rest in peace to two legends, man. Just amazing people. We lost so many great iconic actors from back in the days.
And I'm like, 2026, you need to calm down.
You need to relax.
You need to calm down,
right? To pump the brakes a little bit.
2025 was bad enough because I'm as a rock fan because I lost Ace Frehley and Ozzy.
Right, exactly.
So, but now it's like, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, thanks for being here. I know is this your first time watching the Outlaw Josey Wales?
First time, man. You're the man responsible for me getting into westerns. Blame Matt.
Well, it's okay. I'm here to help. All right, let's bring on Chad. We got Chad here. He's going to be in Horror Fest too. Chad, I know you've seen Outlaw Josey Wales before.
Many a time. Yep.
So, what are your thoughts on the passing of two legends? You got anything you want to add to what we said?
Yeah, that was way too close together. Like John was saying, man, I was like just in shock with Dolly, and then today Tim Curry. I was like, this has got to stop, man. We lost Jerry Conway, a couple other people
And Hayden
recently.
Panettiere just
Yeah,
recently passed away.
yeah, that was a shock as well. Yeah, Dolly, man, I'm not so much. I'm like aware of her music, right? As an American. Per the metal elf, I'm more of a metalhead, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
respect Dolly as a person so much for how much she did for other people, for human rights. I've still got books from the Imagination Library that I read to children. Like, I'm so grateful for that. She really was such a beautiful person inside and out. So rest in peace, Dolly, for sure. Tim Curry, I couldn't believe he was 80. Like,
Yeah.
or Dolly for that matter. Like, I guess.
I saw some interviews with Curry. He had been really having some tough health times the last few years, and I could tell it maybe wasn't as so far off for him because he had, he couldn't even speak really. He had some issues with his jaw, so his voice work he'd stopped doing, and yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, I started looking into that once I was surprised, and he had a stroke in 2014. And then I looked at subsequent pictures, and I'm like, oh, okay, because I haven't seen him in the spotlight, so it was a surprise to me. But Legend, Congo, Home Alone 2, like he's got some iconic roles, and he will definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's just one of those guys, I think Susan Sarandon said he was the kind of guy who just lit up a room when he walked into it. So, and Dolly was the same way, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got a couple more people here. We'll get a feminine perspective on this macho Western we're watching tonight. We got Sabrina here, Coffee Monster. How you doing?
Hey. Good. I'm glad I was able to join. I've been wanting to hop on here for a minute with you. This movie this is the first time like going all the way through it. I did grow up with my grandfather, and he loves Western. So I know it was on in the background, but I never sat through the whole thing. It's a long one, I know. I do like Westerns, but I like them a little bit more grimy, a little bit more gritty. You know what I mean? Like this one's a classic. It's very like in the box Outlaw, right? Like it's not super crazy. So.
Well, what do you think of Dolly Parton and Tim Curry?
I love her. I think she's one of those brave women who does not care. She's like, I'm sexy and I know it. And she is. And I appreciate that with women, obviously, So for me, that's really cool. That she lived as long as she did, because she was an icon for me in that way. And then I did like her music. Not big on country, but I love Jolene, for example, right? Like she got real raw. She wasn't always just country. I don't feel like Jolene's country, but maybe it is. I feel like it's a little bit soul. But yeah, I really loved her. That was hard to hear that she was gone, but she did live a long, beautiful life. And then Tim Curry, same. I think at the end he needed to maybe find a peaceful ending, because it was pretty rough there at the end. But for me, he's incredible. I mean, you guys listed so many great ones of him. I will say I'm disappointed no one said Clue. I loved Clue because of him. Like I said,
it's a great movie.
Yeah, mainly because of him, I feel like. And then obviously Rocky Horror, I share that love too. One of my favorite movies. So that's really sad to see him go, but more just because not a lot of people are like him. You guys all pretty much said it. He's very theatrical, I feel like, background wise. And you can tell like he actually cared about the art. There's not a lot of people who are like that now, right? Because of AI and all that stuff. So legend.
Thanks for being here. Dolly one time was quoted as saying, she goes, she didn't mind people saying jokes about dumb blondes because she wasn't dumb. She knew she wasn't stupid, and she wasn't really a blonde.
Yeah.
She had her hair peroxide, Well,
she just liked to have fun, she didn't have to be smart all the time.
All right.
I love that about her.
Yeah, me too. All right, we got Big Jeff here too. Station, what's up, Jeff? What do you think of? You got any memories about Dolly or Tim Curry before we start on this?
I'll start with Tim Curry, and I'll keep this short. For him, because I'm a movie guy, comic book guy, pop culture guy, music guy. But if I was to choose one of them that I'm the deepest in, it's music. But so for Tim Curry, versatility. That's what I'll say about him. Just crazy versatility. And I forgot who said it, but I'm with you. For the longest time, I didn't know that was him in Legend. I had no clue. But yeah, Tim Curry, he was amazing. His resume speaks for itself. But with Dolly, I grew up with Dolly Parton in my household on the television screen quite often, and on TV shows, movies, all the different movies everybody talked about. And she came from a dirt poor upbringing, dirt poor. So that, I think that made her, it gave her a certain, I don't even know what the word is, survival instinct, street smart, no BS type of attitude. And she grew up and navigated the entertainment world in the decades where,
male dominated.
There were no rules for how women can be treated. And we all know that she was well endowed. So imagine what she dealt with. Imagine, you know what I mean? And she was like Superman, letting the bullets just bounce off her, and she kept on going to the top, to the top, to the top. The imagination is that what you called it, John? The imagination book
library, the imagination library.
Amazing. But I want to talk to something specifically that's in my heart. The song "I Will Always Love You." The world knows it. It's iconic in and of itself. Written and performed by Dolly Parton. That's nobody else's song. That's her song. And if you think about that song and how it's been painted throughout our popular culture mural throughout time, I think that in and of itself is amazing. Just one of her biggest accomplishments, if you want to call it that. I know that doesn't define her. That's not her defining moment. She has many. But Dolly Parton, Tim Curry, rest in peace.
And I want to say that the money she made, about $10 million off of Whitney Houston using it alone, just Whitney Houston using it, not her own using it. And she used it. I want to say almost all of that became this cultural center in Tennessee that was dedicated to Whitney. It was named after Whitney or something.
The house that Whitney built.
Yeah, and she put that money to use in her Tennessee community, which is fucking amazing. So that's
one song,
incredible. That one song, just that one song. She put it to use in her community. Didn't just take it into herself and buy herself another mansion or something.
Chris Cornell went on tour, and he did a lot of his later years. He toured by himself, solo, with just him playing an acoustic guitar. I got the pleasure of going to one of those concerts, and he sang "I Will Always Love You" a cappella with his guitar. I guess that's not a cappella, but I don't know. But it was gorgeous. So that I just wanted to point that song out.
Yeah, no, great point.
Yep.
Well, and I saw her house in Tennessee, and it was very, very accessible, right? And it wasn't a mansion. It was a 2-story. It was a nice house, don't get me wrong, but she could have afforded a hell of a lot more. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's like I was saying earlier that she could have been a billionaire, but instead of doing that, she chose to help people. She was still well off, but and I would not be surprised that they're asking for people to send donations instead of flowers to the Imagination Library because, like Bruce said, unfortunately, because of some short-sighted people in control of our purse strings, they decided to cut funding to it.
Well, apparently Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus were two of her biggest fans, and Taylor Swift has asked all of the Swifties to donate $13 because it's her favorite number. So you think about it, there is a fuck ton of Taylor Swift fans out there. Well, if they get $13 a piece to get donated.
It's interesting. She was Miley Cyrus's godmother.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I love all this tea I'm hearing. I love it. I do not know these things already.
Also, her production team was one of the producers of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show.
Oh, love Buffy. That's another beautiful woman.
Yep. Yeah, she was behind the scenes producer for that. And she didn't have her name on it. It was just her production company's name, which doesn't include anything that you'd know was hers. Yeah.
But anyway, I know it's kind of turned into a Dolly Parton stream. I'm sorry. All right,
best choice.
Let's get into the movie. I'm gonna read a little something about it. The Outlaw Josey Wales. It was released in 1976, June 30th, 1976 was the theatrical release date. It was filmed in 1975. Had a budget of $3.7 million. It made $31.8 million at the box office. Of course, it stars Clint Eastwood and Sandra Locke, who, interesting enough, was married to somebody else when this movie was being made, but she was also seeing Clint Eastwood. And the director of this movie, the original director of this movie, Phil Kaufman, kind of had a crush on her too. So allegedly they didn't get along, and he didn't like the way Philip Kaufman was also directing the movie. So he had him fired like a month into production, and he took over directing it, which ended up making a rule that the Screen Actors Guild made a rule called the Eastwood rule, because they said it was his refusal to do so resulted in a fine reported to be around $60,000 by the Directors Guild of America because of him replacing him like this abruptly and taking over. This resulted in the Directors Guild passing a new rule known as the Eastwood rule, which prohibits an actor or producer from firing the director and then personally taking on the director's role.
Which, by the way, is the primary reason Kurt Russell's not named as the director of Tombstone, even though he apparently shot a ton of that movie after the director stormed out in a huff. Kurt Russell continued the movie, kept things going, and was basically directing that movie day to day.
There's many ways to skin a cat.
Well, Michael Biehn rewrote quite a bit of it.
Yeah, and Michael Biehn said that that movie was Val and Kurt Russell's movie because the way they did. Yeah, but they just couldn't technically say it. What's up, Road Collecting? And Entropy points out that Clint also argued that he was a better director and convinced the production company that he was the man to take the reins. So, also. This movie is based on a book called Gone to Texas. It was written by a guy that's claimed to be called Forrest Carter, who said he was I think a half Cherokee or something. Interesting enough, though, he was lying. His real name, unfortunately, was if I can find it here. I'm trying to find out where it's at. Okay, where is this at? Okay, it says his name is Forrest Carter. Okay, it's here somewhere. I just lost it, but anyway. All right. It was inspired by the 1972 novel by supposed Cherokee writer Forrest Carter.
He is Asa Earl Carter.
His real name was Asa Earl Carter. He was a member of the KKK and a segregationist speechwriter for Governor George Wallace of Alabama. And he was the one, if you remember, famously, if you're a history buff, the Governor Wallace had the speech where he said, "Segregation now, segregation forever."
Yep.
This guy's the guy that wrote that speech.
And he got shot too.
Yep. He got shot.
So the guy that wrote the book that's the basis for the Outlaw Josey Wales was a full Klan member guy.
And he wrote another book about growing up a Native American kid.
Pretending to be
Little Tree, called Little Tree, or the education of Little Tree. But he moved from Alabama and assumed this other name writing these books and didn't think anybody was going to notice. And the only reason anybody noticed was because this movie became quite popular and he did a press tour as the writer of the book. And people in Alabama saw him and said, "Wait a minute, I know him." So we don't know if he was changed his ways or if he was just embarrassed, didn't want nobody to know. But but in Clint Eastwood's defense and everybody involved in the movie, none of them had any idea about this. It came out later. So anyway, so interesting history there. But the one thing I will say about this movie is, like I was saying, there was this thing called the lost cause thing. It's like, they came in here and it's, this is not about nothing else. It's not about states' rights. That's kind of bullshit. That's kind of something they've always said, but we'll not get into that. But what I do like about this movie is it kind of shows the perspective of Civil War, as in like the character Josey Wales did not want to be involved in this at all. And these raiders, which was a bad thing back then, especially in Kansas and Missouri, they were called guerrillas, right? And they would go through there, and both of them are bad for this. Like, I'm not saying that the North wasn't all lily white. They did some pretty awful shit to people.
Yeah.
And but so did the Confederates. If you famously, Frank and Jesse James were part of Quantrill's raiders out of Missouri. But yeah, they hurt civilians, is what I'm saying. They attack people. So we start out, and it's like, so I think it's kind of like, I didn't want this fight, but you brought it to me, so now that's all I have to live for is my vengeance or revenge, right? So also it's about, like, I think what Eastwood is, he's quoted as saying that he felt this was an anti-war movie. He said I saw parallels to modern day at the time, because if you think about when they were filming this, we were just getting out of Vietnam. He said it never ends. A war never ends. It's a horrible thing, but it's also a unifier of countries. Man becomes his most creative during war. Look at all the weaponry that was invented in the 4 years we were in World War II. He said it's just the urgency and the camaraderie and the unifying thing, but it's also a sad statement on mankind if that's what it takes for that to happen. All right. Also, a lot of people, like, there's a lot of stuff to do. We'll talk about the themes later, but like surrogate families has a lot to do with this movie too. I feel it's some people trying to get rid of his past, because I think at the heart of it, Josey Wales, he's a killer. He kills a lot of people in this movie, but at his heart, he still wants to do the right thing for people that are being like, you know, how he reluctantly helps people that he knows are in trouble that need help, and he does it all the time in this movie. But I think he likes to pretend he's got a nastier disposition than he does. But John, what are your overall thoughts of the Outlaw Josey Wales?
I mean, it's definitely got a hard edge to it, and it does remind me of some of the talking points we had during the Dirty Harry conversation when that came out, because obviously you got a lot of the same hardcore right-wing, revenge story kind of stuff going on here. I think the difference is this is definitely a movie examining, I think, what happens to the little guy, the small person who just had his small little farm, getting caught up in the big war, and how you're grist for the mill. You're getting just basically destroyed underneath the boot of the machine of war. And I think that's certainly very understandable and relatable. And I think that's why we like Josey, or we're cheering for Josey, is we're seeing him being torn up by this machine it doesn't care if you're blue or gray. And certainly, to your point, Matt, there's a ton of horror stories of raiders from the north and raiders from the south going up and just taking out their aggression on the little farmer, not the soldier, not the general, not the war machine, but the guy who's just like, I didn't want to fight. I got to take care of my kids, and I'm just trying to keep my land going here. And it was just like, let's just slaughter them all.
It didn't happen as much out east as it did in these areas around. Like,
sure.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it did happen. I mean, we still, like, Sherman's marched to Atlanta, of course, famously.
Yeah. But it's also got, all the great Western tropes, the quick draws, and the tough words. And I think to Sabrina's point earlier, definitely leans into the cliches of the genre.
Oh yeah.
And that doesn't ruin it, but it certainly does. If you've seen a lot of Westerns, it makes it seem somewhat common, although at the time, obviously, it was probably a little more original than obviously now. But certainly you could see John Wayne playing this part. Like, ultimately The Searchers is kind of a similar thing. He's a rebel coming back from war in that, and still carrying a lot of his grief and frustrations and racial perspectives on the Native Americans. And so I think there's definitely some commonality there. But yeah, no, a strong film, and I think his second or third time directing, so a very early time behind the camera for him.
Yeah. And also, I think what they also kind of portray is the shame that can be felt by the losing side of a war like this. Like when they're giving up their weapons and they have to say, I pledge allegiance to the United States, and they're like, they didn't want to do that at that time. But it's just, you have to put yourself in their, and I think that they do a good job of putting yourself in their shoes, even if you don't agree with what their cause was.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. You got anything else to add, John?
No, that was good. That was it.
All right. All right, Fable, what are your overall thoughts? I know it's your first time seeing it.
Yeah, well, as you know, I'm a newbie to this Western genre. The few movies I've seen with Matt for this channel, and I've seen The Wild Bunch and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which I thought were fantastic, right? Like 5 movies for me, right? 5 out of 5. So when I started watching this one, at the beginning I was like, I don't know, this one is not as, it's just not grabbing me like those other 2 are grabbing me. And then when I saw he was fighting for the Confederates, I'm like, what the hell? I don't know if I'm gonna like this shit. But as the movie progresses, and like you guys said, you get the sense that some of these people were just pulled into this conflict, right? They may not even necessarily agree of what's going on. They're just trying to live, and sometimes this is the only way you could live. Like Josey just wanted revenge on the people that killed his wife and his kid, man. And I feel it. Like I don't care who I got to ride with, and who did it, what side they were on. I don't care. I'm catching these guys. I'm attending, So I could understand that, but I like the aspect that as time goes on, all these people just latch on to him, and they see him as this like natural leader, right, of men, and he gets this like sort of respect, and everybody knows who the hell he is, man. Everywhere he goes, like Josey Wales. Everybody knows this guy is not to be f with or not to be taken lightly. But yeah, he just fits this ragtag group of people that follow him, that follow along with him, and that they come from all sorts of places, right? Like you got the Indian guy, the Indian girl, you got the just regular town people from Texas and stuff, and just this ragtag group of people that just end up tagging along with him, including that little red dog. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, I always like how the actor Chief Dan George, who's an actual real Indian chief, he said one of that days that dog's going to bite you. He kept spitting tobacco on it.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny at times. There's a lot of good humor, subtle humor in this movie that really got me. And so it's so surprising that you guys talk about this writer who wrote this movie, because some of the lines in this movie totally, like, I don't know, go against those ideals that you would think this guy has.
Yeah, I know.
Like, talking about governments and we can live together, right? He told 10 Bears, we can live together in life or in death. You know what I mean? And it's like, but we can live together. And I'm like, I'm hearing all this other shit, and I'm like, I don't match. I don't make any sense. But it is. I'm glad that that's the message brought across in this movie, and ultimately, the main reason I love it, that I ended up really enjoying it by the end, maybe you guys can guess why, is because it had a good ending. It had a happy ending, right?
Yeah.
Like when he started getting all these people together with him, I just felt a dread inside. Like, oh, things are going too good. These guys are gonna show up and rain on the parade, and you know what I mean? Because death follows this guy in a certain way, and it ended up going the other way, and I was real happy about that. I liked that he got to ride off in the sunset. So I liked it. I really liked it.
All right, thanks, Fail. Chad, what are your overall thoughts of Outlaw Josey Wales? Somebody's got a lot of background noise. I don't know who it is, but it's okay. We'll work it out.
Well, first off, I think you're spoiling Fable a little bit with the cream of the crop of Westerns.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. There are some amazing Westerns out there. I've seen a ton of them. I actually lived with my grandparents for a while, and my grandpa, on the satellite dish, there was a channel called the Westerns Channel.
Yep. My dad used to watch it every day.
Every day, sitting in his lazy boy, yelling at the TV. But uncle knew the good westerns, like this one, like The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, like Wild Bunch. So we would interrupt those broadcasts of like Gene Autry and Bonanza and like boring ass shit and put something good like this on. So yes, I definitely have a soft spot for westerns, for Clint Eastwood in particular. I do like my John Wayne movies, but Clint Eastwood is prime, man. Lee Marvin, Lee Van Cleef, Jack Palance. There's some amazing westerns out there, even modern as well. It's been a bit since I watched this, but I do have to agree with Fable. Like, there's a bit of a slow spot in the beginning. Yeah, you get that initial like trauma of the Raiders killing his family, but then there's like a lull for a while, and I was like, it really needed some good music, like to set stuff off. That was kind of one of my gripes. But then as we get into that kind of found family, there's so many great actors and action that's going on that tugs at your heart. The backdrop of the Civil War, or as the people in Tennessee called it when I went down in there, the War of Northern Aggression.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of history there. For a PG rated movie, like this deals with some heavy shit, right? There's 2 sexual assault scenes in there. You've got genocide, you've got racism, you've got like life is cheap when the bounty is high, right?
And there's
like,
partial nudity in it too.
Yeah, a couple different times. So yeah. But,
of course, they didn't have a big rating system back then. There was no PG-13, so it's either that or pre PG-13.
Yeah.
Like I just said. Yep.
Yeah. But great movie, great pick, Matt. I'm so glad you're doing westerns for sure, man.
Yeah, I kind of, I don't know. I feel like next year might be a letdown because I did start out with 4 bangers for this one, but like there are some still great ones out there. Like in fact, I almost chose the Cowboys for this month, but I didn't. The John Wayne movie, but we'll do that next year maybe. All right, Sabrina, what are your thoughts on the Outlaw Josey Wales?
Yeah. For me, I enjoyed it a lot. It reminds me kind of more of like a historical Western. So there's a lot more like history to it. And like you guys said, there's a lot of, stuff in there, classic Western stuff. I don't think they go there all the way though. So I think that's why maybe it wouldn't be super, higher rating. But for sure, if they re-rated it, I'm sure it wouldn't be PG-13. But if they did it today and, HBO or Showtime did it, you know what I mean? It'd be kind of wild to see. But no, I enjoyed it. I think in the beginning, it's cool how they play with it a little bit where he's like more peaceful. There's a lot of humanity, I feel like, in the beginning. And then they like rip it all away. Then they rip everything away for him. Then he starts, like you guys said, collecting kind of like, weirdos, like outcasts, along the way. That's like his new family, even though he's like not trying to have family, because I think Fable hit it right on the nose. Like, he doesn't want to have more loss. You know what I mean? He's grieving a lot. Mm-hmm. He's lost pretty much everything. So I think for him, it's like, let's move on, but like alone. But at this point, he's over it. And I think that's why he flips and everyone's like, what? Confederate, what? Because he's like, I'm over it. Because like he tried to do the right thing and then lost everything. So like, what's the point? And I feel it because it can be like that. So I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff in there, from, like I said, collecting and starting and building your own family, having new responsibilities. And, the ending was great. I feel like it was a long movie, so it did need very good closure, I feel like, after that. But yeah, just really well played. I think for Clint Eastwood as well, like this was, I think, one of his prime, I want to say, because his character didn't like need to speak a lot and you felt everything he said. I don't know. I thought that was really cool. So really, really well done.
All right, thanks, Sabrina. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
It's been about a couple decades since I've seen it, so you have to forgive me on recalling details, but I don't think this Western was in the same vein as some of the previous ones that Clint Eastwood was in. I think this one was a lot more like situational and character driven. like Sabrina was just saying, his character, Clint Eastwood's character, is not, I'm the town badass, I'm the smartest, I'm the fastest, nobody can beat me, that type of, it wasn't that type of vibe. I think it was somebody trying to sever themselves from the past and just having a hell of a time doing it, because he wasn't blindly allegiant to that cause or a cause or whatever. He wanted to move. I think he's wanted to move forward in a peaceful life, but his past would not let him.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Jeff. Also, there's I think that Sam Bottoms, who plays the young boy, I think he kind of represents innocence a little bit, like innocence lost, and Josey Wales tries to take care of the kid. He kind of sees him before all this stuff happened to him in that kid, I think. Maybe that's just maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I always thought it was a great performance with Sam Bottoms, even though he doesn't make it. But you see, all this whole time he's meeting people, he's seeing people die, he's adding more people to his little unit, and he doesn't. I think he's hardened his heart, when the kid dies, because he knows his kid's going to die. I think he deep down knew that kid was not going to make it. But he kept taking care of him anyway. And I always kind of like their little thing, when they get away from him, he go, "Whipped him again, Josey. We whipped him again, Josey."
And I also think it was his, when Sabrina says he's over it. I think when that kid died, he's like, screw all this shit.
What's the point?
All of this is so stupid. Yeah.
Well, at some point, Fable, remember, he's just going to go down there to die in a blaze of glory and shoot as many of these Yankees as he can, right?
Yeah.
And then he sees Sam Bottom's character shot. And he's like, "I don't want to die, Josey." And he says, "All right, let's get the hell out of here." He gets the kid out of there.
Well, and they learned that Fletcher had sold him out. I think that's another big part of it. Why he wanted revenge too.
Yeah.
But to Sabrina's point about the, liking people, there's an interaction with Chief where they're both on the horses, and he says something to the effect of, "I notice when you like people, they don't stick around. And when you don't like them, they don't stick around either."
Yeah. And also there's a certain brokenness to these people. They're all broken in some way. They've all had some kind of tragedy befall them. Even though he kind of sold them out, I still feel bad for Fletcher a little bit too. At the end of it, like this deal he made with these guys just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Where he's like, there ain't no end to doing right. See, these people think they're right.
Right.
And so it's they're indoctrinated into this mindset that they actually made. This is the danger of making people that were murderous marauders like this into regular soldiers. You know, like the guy, the Red Legs guy, Captain Red. I kind of love the way he's like, "I advise you not to cross the river, Captain Red Legs." He puts him on a Missouri boat ride, which is one of the most hilarious. Also, there are some funny stuff in it, like when that guy's like, "This elixir will do almost anything." He says, "How is it at getting tobacco stains out?" And he spits on the guy's jacket. Yeah, well, like John, it kind of reminded you of Lando and Darth Vader. Like,
yeah, I think Fletcher is very Lando, and Clint Eastwood's character is Josey's very Han Solo in some regards, and I think that so obviously,
Well, also there's that
Vader
great
puts him
line.
in a tight spot.
One of the great one-liners in this movie is the end of it when he said, "I think I'm going to go to Mexico and find him and tell him that the war's over."
Yeah.
And Eastwood's getting ready to turn away and walk, and he stops and he looks back and goes, "I guess we all lost something in that war, didn't we?"
Yeah.
And that's what war is all about. Everybody loses something.
For everybody he comes across is a victim or casualty of what's going on.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'm digressing too much. So let's go on and talk about the casting. John, what is a character you would like to highlight in this movie? There's so many good ones, though, I think.
I mean, we're already talking about Fletcher. I think John Vernon is the great in this movie. I absolutely love him. And he is, he's clearly the guy. If you've seen the movie once, the second time you watch it, that whole first bit when he's convincing the soldiers to come down, I think he knows what's going to happen to them. I don't think he, has a whole lot of illusions that they're going to be okay. I don't. I think he feels a ton of guilt, and he's trying to get them all to come down there. And of course, immediately he has then thrown into the job of rounding up Josey and anybody else who's left, and it just gets worse. He's just in this awful place, and he's able to I wouldn't say he redeems himself, but he certainly has a moment at the end when he's able to say enough's enough. And I think he has a great character arc in this.
I think there was something interesting to it that he said to the senator or whatever, when he said, Josey's the man of the feud. Because of what you did here today, I got to go kill him because he's not going to stop.
Yeah. And Vernon's a great actor. I mean, he's in Dirty Harry. He's got that great role as the slimy mayor, and I love him in Animal House as Dean Wormer. He's phenomenal in that. He's in Airplane 2. I mean, he's a very talented guy. But this is one of the few times I think he actually has a role with a character arc and a journey. I think
I agree.
He makes the most of it. I'm surprised he was never a bigger performer. Any Wayans brothers fans would know him as Mr. Big in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. The bad guy, and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. I love that movie. It's hilarious if you've never seen it. And
he OG'd.
He's the bad, he's the bad white guy. He's amazing. He was always a heavy. He was always a bad guy. And I think in this, the nonverbal stuff he's got with Eastwood in that final scene is super.
It's amazing acting, both of them.
Yeah, so it's a great small role.
And the thing about Eastwood is, like, you'll see guys like John Vernon, and the guy says, "Hey, Blanche, bring the horses over here. We got us the Josey Wales." That guy's he was in like Every Which Way But Loose.
A bunch of stuff, yeah.
Sandra Locke has been in a lot. I think the woman that played the grandma was in one of his movies before.
Yeah.
The guy that played Captain Redlegs Terrell was in a couple.
If he knew what he was going to get out of you, I mean, let's be fair. Clint Eastwood was me first. Everybody, follows me. You do what I want.
Yeah.
His movie sets, his performances, it was all like built around him, and it worked to one degree or another, but obviously it was very hard on those people if they didn't conform to what he wanted of them. So obviously the director of this movie is an example of that, and poor Sandra going through being stuck in the middle of all that. But for a guy like Vernon, it clearly was a success.
Yeah. And Callie's saying, "You have all the horses, but you're on the wrong side of the river."
That's a quote from The Mummy.
Okay. All right. Fable, what is the character you'd like to highlight? You're muted.
The guy who I enjoyed the most has to be Chief Dan George.
Yes.
I think he is fantastic in this movie. I think he has some of the best lines in the whole film.
I agree.
I think he's so funny in the subtlest ways, the way he says things, like, you know what I mean? This is the whole sneaking up bit, like, "Oh, you sneaking up on me," or whatever. And then the girl sneaks up on him. He's like, "Oh, I let a woman sneak up on me. This is like embarrassing." And then when he gets caught with her, sleeping with her, and
yeah.
He's like, "Guess I'm not too old after."
He's lying and told her he was a chief.
Yeah.
Also, I like when they're talking, the interaction with him and Clint Eastwood. I made a little video about it today when I was watching it. Where he's like, "White men been sneaking up on us for years." He's like, and Eastwood's like, "Sounds like we can't trust the white man."
Yeah. There's just a lot of cool little interactions between him and Clint Eastwood that I think endear me to their relationship, right? I think they have a strong bond. They end up having a strong bond. And you see that Chief was really upset when Clint was going to move on, right? Clint was like, I'm going to move on. And he started crying and stuff. And it's like, damn, this is his boy. They ended up having this real good bond that I think is the highlight of this movie. So I gotta I got to give it up to Chief George, man.
And by the way, he was an actual Indian chief.
Yeah.
And this is I can't say the word, but the Watie Nation band of Indian in an Indian reserve. He was from Vancouver, Canada, but he was still a native, and he had been in a lot of movies. And unlike a lot of things they did in the 60s and 50s, he was an actual native person that they've had in movies. So actually, we got two actual really quite famous. Like the guy who plays Tim Bears was a quite famous native actor too.
I know. I was like, that's the guy from Poltergeist too.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks, Chad. Who do you want to? What character? You stole my guy, by the way, Fable. But it's all right.
Yeah. Well, he stole mine too. Yeah. So I mean, if you look at my little subtitle there, that was one of his lines in the movie. Hell is coming.
Yeah.
Like he was the spotlight of the movie, like the spiritual wisdom, the glue that like held everything together. Yeah, and just fun. I guess I ain't so old yet.
Well, I like the way he tells that story about going to Washington, and they're like, the Indians endeavor to persevere. He goes, that's when we decided to declare war on the Union.
Yeah. When he falls down the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
Fucking Clint Eastwood is so pissed at him, like, damn it. Like, you're the reason why we in this bullshit. He's good.
And then one of his fellow civilized Indians was named Buffalo Hump. I was like, that was great, man. Buffalo Hump. But I guess there's so many great performances in here. I got a real kick out of Grandma Sarah, the old lady.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Okay. Well, we're all just stealing each other's, man. You can add to mine after I'm done, and then yeah. She had her own arc in this, right? Like from the general store where she's saying, nothing good comes from Missouri, and I don't think much of Hoosiers, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I'm from Indiana, man. He goes, I don't think much of Hoosiers either.
I don't pay no mind to that. Yeah, like she was just did not give a shit about anything. And until the Comanchero showed up and then slaughtered her men. And we're about to haul off her daughter, Sandra Locke there. She was an interesting character. Man, those eyes. Like I just kept thinking doe eyes. Like But anyways, back to Grandma. Her loading the muskets, like she was ready to go and kick ass, right? Like and the way that once they finally got to the ranch, to back up a little bit, the denial about Rose and her son, the prostitute in the saloon, that was a funny interaction. Like my boy was a civilized, good-hearted person. She was like, yeah, he was a good man.
She's trying to be diplomatic about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then once they get there and she's like starts chastising Josey, like, I never figured you'd be a free loafer, like you need to go chop wood with the men and I'm gonna get this shit going. Like it reminded me of my mom when she's cleaning house. Like, I gotta do this and this and this. Get the hell out of the way and go do your shit.
Yeah. The way she was beating that carpet, boy, she was like,
yeah. And she was that actress, she was Paula Truman. She was in her 80s when they made this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of spunk for an 80-year-old.
Yep. She was the only one. That lady that played Granny, the one on the country store when they crossed the Missouri River. She was in her 80s too. Yeah. And then Dan George was like, he wasn't a spring chicken when he made this movie. All right. Thanks. That's a good pick. Sabrina, what character would you like to highlight?
Yeah, I agreed with the Grandma Sarah more because it was like she didn't give a fuck, and like everyone else like fell for Josey stuff, and she didn't seem to really fall for it right away, right? Like she liked him, she loved him, but like she didn't, and she would call him out on the shit. So I love that. Otherwise, I mean, Laura, I guess, since no one said her already, she's the girl, right? The love interest. So I'm bad with names. I think that was her name, right? Laura?
Yep.
Laura Lee. So her then, because you need that in every storyline. It's cool because he, has an opportunity there. Maybe there's a possibility, that he can love someone again, and kind of start over. So good sense of hope.
Yeah, and she's kind of a broken character too. The way she's kind of, she's been through a lot of hard stuff. But like, they're all broken people, like we were saying earlier. That's what
it gives her more depth, though, right? She's not just like the love interest. I mean, she has a storyline, but she's definitely, I feel like, a tool for him though too. So you guys got me being all gushy. I was going with, zero fucks given grandma, but
it's all right. I was going to pick the Chief Dan George, so it's okay. That always happens. So next time I'm going first, though. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be like Robbie. I'll take over the commandeer of the show. All right.
Don't pick up any bad habits from that guy, please. Okay. Don't
Jeff, what's the character? What's the character you'd like to highlight?
Well, everybody, it's Lone Watie. The way that him and Josey Wales first meet up is the scene that I like, because Josey sneaks up behind him, and they start having a conversation while he's got him at gunpoint, and Josey's like, "Seems like you're looking to come up on some cash here, Chief." And then the Chief's just all calm, and he's like, "Well," he says something like, "No, it seems like you're the kind of person that might sneak up and get behind me." And I didn't want it. I was trying to avoid that.
Right.
Yeah. I like when he gets stuck up on. He's like, I'm getting better at sneaking up on you. He says, "Yeah, they'll know sneak up on me like that's an Indian." That girl comes up behind him.
And
Yeah, and then they're talking, and he's like, Josey goes, "It's not supposed to be easy to sneak up on an Indian."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, I'm not an Indian anymore. We're civilized tribe."
No,
and it seems to me, you white men have been sneaking up on us for quite a while now.
I also like where he says, "You got any food?" He goes, "I got this piece of rock candy, but it's not for eating. It's for looking through."
Yeah, he's so good.
So yeah, Chief for sure.
All right. Well, since somebody talked about it, we'll talk about Josey Wales.
Yeah.
I think Clint Eastwood's good at playing these characters. Like, I think he learned a lot in the '60s playing these characters, like the no bullshit. He doesn't really do a lot of talk. He doesn't mince his words, but he's got some meanness to him in this movie. What I like when they get the drop on those two hunters or whatever they are out there in the brush, when the kid's like, "Josey, I hid the gold," he like plays along when they got like all this gold. They both kill him, and he sits there and he spits tobacco on that guy's head. And Sam Bottoms is like, "Too bad we can't didn't have time to bury them folks." He goes, he says, "Screw them pilgrims." He says, "Worms got to eat the same as buzzards."
Yeah.
They just keep on going. And also but you don't feel bad for these guys, because I get the feeling those two bushwhackers would have probably turned their mother in for a bounty reward. And also you get these two trappers there at that store, which we've already established are trying to assault this Native American woman. What was she? I think she was Navajo. And they were not very savory people. They were, hitting people. And so they come in there and they think they're going to get the drop on them. That's kind of like the thing in this movie. The whole time these people underestimate this guy. They think they're going to get the drop on him.
Mm-hmm.
And they never do. But it's kind of hard not to follow him, because he leaves a trail of dead bodies wherever he goes. But I feel like, a lot of times in the movie, though, like the way he plays it, is he didn't really, it seems like he didn't have no choice but to resort to violence a lot of times, even though I think that's the way they made it look like. But he knew how to get out of violence. But he was also smart. Like when they're all sitting there, he's like, "Oh, he'll only be able to take out a few of us when they're trying to ferry him over."
Yeah.
No, he's already thinking 3 spots ahead of him. He goes, "If we run now, they'll catch up with us by night." So he waits until they're about halfway in the middle of the river, and that guy's like, "Oh, Mr. Josey Wales, you'll never get all of them." He's like, "Well, Mr. Carpetbagger, this is what we call around here as a Missouri boat ride." He shoots the rope.
Yeah.
And So like I don't know. I also feel like he's got this great like kind of gallows humor. Like when he gets spotted in that town, and all those soldiers are looking at him. He's like, "Are y'all going to do something, or just stand there and whistle Dixie?"
Yeah.
And also, but
Are you gonna pull these pistols out, right, or something like that? Or
yeah. Also, I kind of like the part. He's got some cool lines in this movie. The one where he goes and talks to 10 bears, and he goes, "My words of life are in my words, and my words of death are in my guns. So we can either die together or we can live together right now." He's like, "Which one's it gonna be?" He's like, because he's basically telling 10 bears, "Look, all your boys will get me, but I'll get you first.
Yeah.
So why don't we just like live together? Because we both of us have seen a lot of killing, and I'm sick of it. I know you probably are too." And also, there's a great scene with that bounty hunter in that bar when he says, "I have to do it." He goes, he says, "It's what I do for a living." He goes, "Dying ain't much of a way to live, boy." Or dying ain't much of a living. Like I always thought that was a great line. Sometimes I got it mixed up with one of the lines in The Unforgiven when he's like, deserve ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't know why those always get mixed up in my head. But next year we're probably going to review The Unforgiven though.
Yeah. He's got the two great bits. Oh, go ahead, Chad.
I was gonna say sometimes the meanness was really satisfying though.
Yeah.
Like, I thought like spitting on the dog repeatedly was a bit much. I mean, I could see it the first time, but repeatedly. But when he spit on the carpetbagger, I was clapping. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" That asshole just tried to sell a bottle of that for 10 cents. Then he tries to sell it for $1 to him.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit.
Sometimes it's karma. That was just karma.
Yeah. It's like, and then he spits on him. He's like, "Does it work on stains?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, like, I don't know. I don't know about it. I just like the Eastwood in it. And like I said earlier about Sam Bottoms, unfortunately, Sam Bottoms, he died kind of young, but he was actually a pretty good actor. I want to say he was in Apocalypse Now. Am I wrong in thinking that, John? Was that the same guy that played the young man?
Yeah, I think that's the same kid.
Lance. Lance. Yeah, I think it was his name. Yeah, he kind of had like I think he died in his 50s though. It was kind of tragic.
Yeah, he's the surfer kid in Apocalypse Now.
Okay, all right. I always thought he was a good actor.
Oh, that's right.
It was actually just a couple of years later too. Yeah, right. He probably went from Outlaw and then was gone with
that's a hell of a
making
years.
Apocalypse Now for 3 years. Yeah,
that's a heck of a couple of years right there, ain't it? Like you get to work with Clint Eastwood and then Stanley Kubrick. So, or not Stanley Kubrick. I mean, oh my God, Francis Ford Coppola. I'm sorry,
Coppola. Yeah, but then he also worked with Clint Eastwood again in Bronco Billy.
Okay. But I think what he does a good job of, I just wanted to say this about him. I already said it. He kind of does a good job of showing like the innocence lost. This, you got like these grizzled veterans that have seen a lot of death. And this young man still kind of, you know what I mean? Like you could tell how much he looks up to Josey Wales and these other guys. Like, and that's probably his downfall too. It's looking up to these people. I don't know, but like, I don't know. Like, I think that's some of the most emotional things in the movie is when he's like, "I'm not afraid to die anymore, Mr. Josie." And you're like, yeah, I knew that. But remember the first time I watched this movie, I knew that was when he was going to die. I was like, he's not going to make it. But anyway, so that's it. But like Clint Eastwood, of course, I like him in any Western. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if he plays the same guy in every movie, but he pretty much does. But he's a great at doing that. He's great at
Westerns.
I was gonna say, or you could argue that Western tropes are very strict, and you tend to get a lot of repeats in that genre of the same kinds of characters again and again.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The quiet, strong hero who's got a dark, painful, and brooding.
Well, and the truth is,
and he's out for vengeance.
Yes.
The truth is, if you were actually good at doing stuff like Josey Wales does in this movie, you know what? Talk's cheap. Like the people that run their mouth and they're going to do this, I'm going to do that. they're not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, also you kind of get that with like, I don't know, a lot of these characters are really creepy, like the boat ferry guy, because he'll start singing Dixie when he's ferrying these guys over. As soon as he gets halfway across, he starts singing the battle hymn of the Republic.
Yeah, I just love that his like
Hey.
main line is like "Pull Lemuel, pull Lemuel."
Yeah, it's
That's just survival instinct.
Yeah.
Come Lemuel, hurry Lemuel.
I'll make like something was wrong in the middle. Like, yeah, he says that. The guy's like, bullshit. He's not going to do that at all. All right, let's. Man, I'm kind of dwelling on stuff too long. Sorry. I get off on these tangents. This is one of my favorite movies, and I would argue it's his best. This is Clint Eastwood's best Western, but that's just my opinion. All right, now we're going to go to the style and structure. John, I mean, tell me what you think of the style and structure. That includes the music, and all the.
I think this is where the movie probably gets lesser marks for me. I don't know that it breaks free of the typical, and I think that's why, as much as it ranks among, obviously a better rank of this genre of Western film, I think it's still a little too typical, and I think they don't push a lot of edges, and it probably had a lot to do with the arguing between who's directing this thing and the shifting control going on behind the scenes. I think if you watch, and some of you maybe haven't seen Unforgiven, which is probably his masterpiece, I would probably say that's the better film. It has a ton on its mind and a ton of deeper themes and a ton of deeper thoughts. And then the filmmaking echoes that. I mean, God, he wrote this incredible music for that film, and it plays at the beginning and the end with these powerful little moments. And yeah, Pale Rider is a phenomenal film, Christopher. I totally agree.
Rider.
But you think about the filmmaking in Pale Rider, and you think about camera and the way they dramatize the moments that are happening there. I don't think that happens quite as effectively here. And there are some great moments, and I do think this is a very strong film, but I think technically this film is a little bland. I think someone mentioned the fact that it lacks a really strong score, really strong music. I don't think, you think of the best Westerns and the music is just like powerful stuff. You hit that slow motion moment with a quick draw or whatever, and it's like, wow.
Well,
that little guitar riff at the beginning and end of Unforgiven is heartbreaking. It's just beautiful.
And it's not
just missing here.
It's not surprising that Unforgiven would be better technically and in other regards too, because he'd had what,
many
decades of experience,
decades more of experience after making this movie,
and technology.
I think from a technical standpoint, music, cinematography, editing, it's a little simplistic, and that's probably the weakest part of the movie for me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Babel, what do you think of the style and structure?
And it had Gene Hackman in it.
Yeah, I echo everything John just said. I think John hit the nail on the head.
So many great actors. Yeah.
I think that Chad said it earlier. I was spoiled by the Wild Bunch and the Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I think it's kind of hard to top Sam Peckinpah and Sergio Leone, and the shots and the beauty and the things that they were bringing out in those movies. This is kind of normal, right? There's nothing really. I mean, it's a beautiful movie, right? It's sharp as hell. That beginning scene when they raid his house, I thought, I was like, wow, this is really crisp and colorful. So you can tell that Clint was getting on it, right? Like he was getting better and better. But yeah, there's no. If I had, I'm not trying to compare it, but because that's my reference point, Sergio and Peckinpah just like, yeah, it's nowhere on that level. And Chad is also right about the music. There's nothing that hits you like how in the Wild Bunch, the Mexican music hit me, or the score. I mean, the Good and Bad, the Ugly score is phenomenal. Probably a top 5 score.
It might be one of the best ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see, at least for me, right? Because I don't have much experience. I see the absence of these things, and it does bring it down a little. But just a few points. It's probably more of a nitpick than anything, or a taste thing, right? Like I just love those wide angles of Peckinpah. I love those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those close-ups of Leon. So yeah, I agree with John. I echo exactly what he said, man.
All right, good stuff, Bill. Chad, what do you think of the style and structure?
So far, I definitely agree with you guys. What's been said. This is a really good movie. Like it's above average Western. But it's kind of lacking. I think to John's point, like the stakes. I don't feel a tension, especially in the first quarter of the film. Other than the trauma at the beginning, I don't feel the tension, and maybe that's where the music would have really helped, right? Like even when they're running away after shooting the four Union guys, like I just didn't feel the tension of it. It was more like, well, we're just gonna survive here, right? Because I got nothing else to live for. But with how the themes that are played here, with the Civil War in the background, like everything that's going on, I think it should have felt a lot more tense.
Yeah.
Like there was more of a gravity to the outcomes in some manner. But beyond that, yeah, the music was kind of lacking. That pacing in the beginning a little bit there, I think it's kind of slow for me. But then it picks up for the rest of the film when you start picking up the outcasts and a lot of great performances, relationships, and the scenery changes too. It gets a lot better. It gets more intense. They're getting further on their journey. A couple more deaths, so that does raise the stakes. I thought the cinematography was good. There are some really beautiful wide angle shots, for sure. But yeah, I don't think it's my favorite Clint Eastwood film, but it's damn good.
I mean, it's one of my favorite westerns. Now it's weird because I was looking at the guy that did the music, Jerry Friedman. He also did music work on Star Trek, the TV show, and it looks like he did work on the Wild. He did music for the Wild Bunch, Straw Dogs, The Getaway, Bad News Bears, The Killer Elite, The Gauntlet, The Big Sleep, Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, he was big in classic movies. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm surprising he didn't do a better job with the, you know what I mean, with this score. But maybe I don't know.
I mean, he did an adequate job. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't.
Well, he was probably like he was probably like one of these guys that was like a steady hand at the till, like kind of guy they would add on. That it might not be like flashy, but it's going to get the job done. I'd say, yeah. All right, Sabrina, what are your what do you think of the style and structure?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed this film in the aspect of like it kind of played to me like a novel. Like there's a prologue, the whole credit scene in the beginning and take you through a little bit of like what's going to happen in like they set the preface of what's going to happen in the film, and then they dive in. There's a whole storyline, there's a conclusion, a happy ending, so to speak. They do the whole thing thoroughly in that sense. So, but it's a classic Western. And if I'm thinking from that period, that's why for me the music was not terrible. I like adequate, I think is more closer to what I'm thinking, because for me it was like you can have it be the main character, it could be a supporting actor, or it could be a background. And this was background because there were bits and pieces where they pulled in real classic old school Western songs, like little tidbits that they would sing them, or there was that one song where he's like, oh, I only know one song,
The Rose of Alabama. Like,
yeah, so I noticed it in the beginning. I think it was very beautifully done because it was to me, I was looking at it more of an artsy approach, I guess, because I'm thinking classic, and I grew up with my grandfather who loved Western. So I'm just thinking old school storybook Western, historical, In the sense where it's like when you're watching it, you can't really be overshadowed by all that noise, I guess. And also just wasn't really back then, that wasn't what was going on. Wasn't a lot of like, bangs and flashes and, whatever. So I don't know. I didn't mind how it was played out. They could have done way more with the music for sure. They could have gone a little more risky on certain parts and showed a little more, dug deeper in certain aspects. But I feel like it was that classic family style vibe, I guess. I don't know. Like it was very not too corny though, but like cliche, like what John said earlier, cliche. It was very cliche Western. But I thought the music was okay. I thought it was there. I thought it was there when it needed to be. I do wish it was there a little bit more, but I did notice it. I did notice little things in the background happening or moments that were carried a little bit. I just think that it didn't overshadow the actors. I think this was character driven. Like I think it was very much about what the actors were saying and feeling and, visually, I guess, is what I felt like the movie was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's like I like there was kind of a thing they do like when they're showing him like after his family's killed and they're like it's like they're showing like these flashbacks or whatever or flashes through his time with these gorillas and it's all kind of like in a blue haze kind of thing. Like the stuff about the Civil War is all like blue and black, I think. I thought that was an interesting thing. Yeah. All right. You got anything else to add?
No, that's exactly it. The way they played, like you said, with the cinematography. I can't speak. The way they played with it and built it up in certain ways, the color, the lighting, the structure. I think it was very classic.
All right. Thanks, Sabrina. Hey, Bryant, how you doing? Jeff, what do you think of the style and structure, dude? Homie?
I think this one compared to the previous Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, the cinematography for the older ones or the previous ones were, each scene could have been a painting that you can hang on your wall. This one, not so much. This one was a bit more. It's like it seemed darker. It seemed more like muddy and blue and wet and Clint Eastwood, the way it was structured, it wasn't just Clint Eastwood by himself navigating an adventure and him being just a sole focused protagonist. This one he's picking up little folks to come along with him because he's acting as a bit of a protector, I guess. And although I don't think he wants to be in some heroic type. It just kind of happens to him. And I don't know. I think it's it's not as romantic as the other ones. This one is more grit to me. So I think that's what the style was, but I don't think that makes it bad or it makes it worse or anything. I still thought it's a really good movie. But just definitely a departure from his previous westerns.
Yeah, I agree with. I could agree with that. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's technically the best film, the best western ever seen. Because like like we were talking about with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Although I would argue that Once Upon a Time in the West is technically better than the good, the bad, and the ugly as far as like cinematically.
I actually like A Fistful for a Few Dollars More is my favorite of that No Name trilogy. If you get a chance, although I know people like Fistful of Dollars, it's just a complete ripoff of was it Yojimbo or whatever he actually had to pay money. Sergio Leone had to pay money to Akira Kurosawa, the Japanese film. He had to they got sued and lost, and because he basically just ripped off that movie and made his own movie.
I like the although this is an American production, the Magnificent Seven is a complete straight ripoff of. Although I think they kind of were just doing that. They were.
I think they bought the. I think they paid for it in advance. They learned the lesson from Sergio Leone.
Don't mess with Kurosawa, okay?
Never.
Well, Kurosawa, I mean, he's big inspiration for a lot of people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Scorsese, Lucas, all those guys. And yeah, John, I was hearing what y'all and Bruce talk about your dad and John. My dad loved Clint Eastwood. He didn't care for John Wayne too much because my dad was a Vietnam veteran, and he felt that movie Green Berets was just straight up bullshit.
It was Vietnam propaganda, to be
Yeah,
sure.
and my dad said it's not like that at all. He said,
as far as modern picks, Sabrina mentions two of the all-time great modern westerns. I think it's hard to get anything by. I mean, obviously, Dances with Wolves is revisionist history, but it's still amazing, and the respect for Native American culture and language and great picks, Sabrina. I adore those movies. Great movies.
Yes, love those.
But the other thing my dad kind of had a problem with John Wayne was my dad just thought he was a fake tough guy. Like he's got this stuff if he got shot in the leg, he's like, just put my boot on and tie it up tight. I'm going to keep on fighting.
That's that grit.
Yeah. And but my dad, who was not a Green Beret,
that's Marine Corps shit too.
but my dad also, my dad was pretty incredulous about saying that he avoided military service. But anyway, let's not get into all that. I don't want to piss a bunch of John Wayne fans off on me. I'm just saying my dad said I wasn't a Green Beret, but I'm pretty sure that this didn't happen in Vietnam like this.
No. I mean, Wayne and Eastwood are two sides of the same coin as far as conservative mouthpiece kind of individuals, and they had strong feelings and perspectives, but that fits the genre of the Western perfectly, right? That is the genre of the Western is an incredibly conservative archetype, and I think that's why they were both very successful in it, and they work in those performances perfectly.
And I'm not saying my dad didn't like John Wayne movies. The Searchers is one of me and my dad's favorite movies to watch together. But I think that's one of the rare movies where I really get to see John Wayne not just play this caricature and actually play an actual meaningful character in this film.
Yeah.
It's not a very likable person. He's not a very likable person in that movie.
I love The Shootist also, if you're looking for a John Wayne Western with a little more on its mind. It was his last film, and Ron Howard's in it, and Jimmy Stewart's in it, and Lauren Bacall is in it, all these great actors. And there he is, John Wayne, kind of finishing out his career.
But I like Rooster Cogburn.
I like that one too.
The sequel to True Grit, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this one right here, I think
might
you can
have
also
talk
tell
for a one-eyed fat man.
That I think that
and cowboys are just hot, you know what I mean? So there's that too.
That's true. Well, they are.
Good with their hands, hardworking.
Yeah, just thought that was a good point, or as far as movies, as far as cowboys, go.
Yeah. The archetype works for all genders for sure.
Yeah.
As far as the style structure, I can't see what y'all are talking about because it's not a perfect film. I think I think Sabrina said earlier, I think there was a couple opportunities where they could have expanded on some details on some stuff they didn't talk about, or they kind of just left unsaid. I felt I would have liked to know. Honestly, I would like to know more about these exploits with the guerrillas a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Because I think we should have had more of a feeling maybe to elicit on how we feel about these guys getting taken prisoner and slaughtered. Are we okay with that, or are these guys? I don't know. Maybe just I don't know. Maybe it's best they did it that way. But I think they were just trying to get more into what the story's about. But sometimes I think there were a couple of lulls that didn't need to be in it. But all right, we'll move on real quick because I let it run later and I wanted it to run. I apologize, everybody, because I did the Dolly Parton thing at the first of it. All right. But John, I'll start with you again. What do you think the theme of this film is?
I think you briefly touched on the sequence when he speaks to the chief of the tribe in his war paint, and the conversation about the words of truth, the words of life, and the words of death. And I think that speaks volumes to, I think, the desire of or maybe the utopia that Wales would choose to live in would be one where people can speak honest and speak plain and not dress things up and use the fog of war to commit atrocities and do horrible things and punish people who are completely innocent and have no stake in the game. And I think that speaks, for me at least, to the big theme of Wales wishing he lived in a better world, in a world where people were speaking the truth and being honest, and all he can do in that moment, knowing that, like, I'm either going to die or I'm going to make something special for the people that I leave behind in one way or another. So I'm just going to speak plainly to this person. And it is the best scene in the movie for me. And the dialogue is so strong, and the two performers are given it all they've got, and it just really, really works. So for me, all the themes, I mean, there's a ton of other themes and things happening in there, but I think it is the desire of, Josey is, he's a realist. He knows the world he lives in, but he just wishes it was different. And all he can do is represent the honesty that he wishes other people appreciated. And what do you know? He finds somebody who appreciates it, even though both of them are dying breeds, right? Both of them are the end of an era. You got this Native American who clearly knows, I'm on the losing side and this isn't going to end well for my generations later to come. And Wales, who's on the side of the Confederacy, and they just surrendered, and he knows he's on the end of it. And they can at least recognize the desire that it could have been different,
And also there's an interesting thing that Josey says when Sam Bottom's character dies, he's got him thrown over the horse, and he's going to, like, like the Yanks will give you a better burial than I could.
Yeah.
But he says something, he says a few words. He's like, this boy saw nothing but killing and violence his whole young life, and he never complained about it. Like that's probably the most words he could put together of that there. But he was right. Like, he grew up in a time of murder and killing, and it's kind of like, does anybody really win in a war? That's
kind of a realistic thing to say, though, because even in real life, if you talk to people that have seen, horrific combat, there's nothing really there's nothing really positive you can glean from it.
There's nothing really like nobody really wins in a war. I mean, governments win, but do the people that fight it really win? Like, that's what I'm trying to say.
It's so weird. Culture, worldwide culture, it seems like, ties this word glory to war and dying on the battlefield. And I'm like, when did that happen? How does that happen?
Yeah. Well, it's usually by people who weren't in the war, right, Jeff? Like here,
you
know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know, but go ahead, John. I didn't mean to interrupt you, dude.
No, I think you can. I said everything I wanted to say. I just love that scene, and I think it does epitomize the fact that Josey's a realist, and he's going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah,
he just wishes that there was more honest people in the world that could speak plainly and be true to their word.
And I think that Tim Bears feels the same way that he does, because he's like, yeah, you're right.
100%. Yeah. He sees himself in Wales for sure.
Hey, Bo. Well, they're two, like, warriors just on the different side of things. Like, that's a great, powerful scene, though. Like, and that guy's, they're both great actors. Like, so, all right, Fable, what do you think the theme is of this movie?
I definitely love that you guys touched on the whole, the end of an era kind of thing, because I think a lot of these movies, especially these late westerns, are all about that. Like, the old ways going away and the new ways coming in, right? And how you adjust to that, how you either change with the times or you go out in a blaze of glory, one of the two, right? I think a lot of these movies have that in it, but in this one in particular, what I got out of it was like loyalty through hate versus love, right? Like Josey, like everybody here and all the other characters, especially in the opposing side, their loyalties are to fear of what might happen to them or monetary gains, right? Nobody's really that loyal. But Josey inspires these victims of war, these victims to be loyal to him because of the kindness that he shows them. It's a whole different kind of, attaching yourself to somebody. And though they're all victims, they all become warriors at the end. For Josey, right? Like their loyalty, their spunk, their fight comes from a whole different place than everybody else, where they're, like I said, either through fear or monetary gain. So that's like what I really picked up on, how you can inspire people to be better, or you know what I mean, or even just loyal through acts of kindness versus threatening people, or you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what I caught off of this.
Yeah, that's a good stuff. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree with all that, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's some like I was saying earlier, and I agree with something Clint Eastwood said about this movie. He felt like there was a anti-war kind of
Yeah,
message going
yeah.
on in this movie.
Well, you see all of them. I mean, the kid in the beginning, he's a
Yeah,
kid, but he's down to die for Josey Wales, because Josey took care of him. He didn't have to do that, but he dragged him along with him, saved his life, and he thanked him for it. He said,
yeah,
the Native American girl, she was going to get sexually assaulted, and here she is shooting people,
yeah.
and you know what I
And,
mean, jumping people.
Dan George is just going to probably
Yeah, Chief George riding
do
off
nothing.
into the
Yeah,
sunset. Yeah, ready to give up. He wanted to go to Mexico or some shit like that.
yeah,
And here he is in the later years of his life. Like, yeah, no, we're standing up for Josey. You know what I mean? Everybody he came across that he lent a hand to.
Well, it's interesting. They also have the dog in it, like the stray dog.
Yeah,
He
he's a
picks up
mangy
stray.
mutt.
He picks up
Yeah,
strays wherever he goes. This guy.
yeah. The mangy mutt is like, whenever he sees the bad guys, like they all fight for this guy, where they were all kind of helpless victims in the beginning,
Even the
right?
people in the
Yeah.
old mining town, they all become
Yeah,
friends
they
with
all
him.
gave up.
Yeah,
Like everybody left the town, and
I like. It's
it,
like
yeah,
actually the best thing happened was the Silverleaf. This town finally got some peace and quiet.
all right. And you see the other guys, like I said, they're either doing it out of fear or money, like, because that's where
Yeah,
their loyalty stops.
absolutely. All right, thanks, Mayo. Chad, what do you think the theme of the movie is?
I mean, the movie opens with, the atrocities of war, the guerrilla fighters coming through and just slashing and burning everything. And
Yep.
to your point, both sides did it, right? I mean, Sherman, they mentioned him in there. He did mile wide slash and burn all the way through the South, just
Yeah.
destroying and murdering everything and anything. I think it starts off with revenge in the beginning, right? He signs up with these other, band of fighters that are left. He's got nothing else left. It's a revenge in the beginning. And then I think after he sees his comrades all killed, and then he thinks Fletcher's in on it, and oh shoot, the young kid there, was it Sam? Anyways,
I don't know what his name in the movie is, but Sam Bottoms is who plays it. That's all I know.
yeah. And then after that, I think it's survival. He becomes
His name
more
is
of
Jamie. Sorry, I was muted when I was trying to talk. His name's Jamie. Yeah,
Jamie. Okay. Yeah, I think he just calls him boy a lot.
Yeah.
But then it's more of a survival tale, and he becomes a protector for these outcasts that he's picking up along the way.
Yeah.
Like, and he trusts them. I mean, even with Chief there, he turns his back to him after Chief goes through like this whole process of how I could make money off sneaking up on you, but then he turns his back and goes takes a nap, right? But it's all very realistic to a point. Like he's seen the horrors of war. He knows who he can trust and who he can't. And yeah, it's very realistic. I don't know, like found family, like I said, survival. And to John's point with the realism, I mean, even when he's looking at the bounty hunters, like him or Fletcher, they're not downgrading them, right? They both kind of remark like, hey, these sons are left after the war with nothing left to do. They have to survive somehow. And that's what everyone's trying to do, is just survive through the day however they can, except for the redlegs, basically.
Well, like, it's the same thing with the bounty hunters, Chad. When he tells the guy, he almost begs him. He's like, "Look, you can turn around and leave. You don't have to. We don't have to do this."
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't want to kill him. You can just ride off. That's what he tells them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like he said, I had to come back. He said, "I know you did." I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Chad.
No. Just to wrap it, and then once the protector, the found family, it gives him a purpose to protect those people. And I think that's why he was going to leave, even though I thought it was kind of sleazy. He sleeps with that girl, and then he's going to take off. But I think it was the weight of that. Even maybe he was getting a little bit too attached, and he's like, I need to leave before the redlegs come for me.
Yeah, definitely. Sabrina, what do you think the theme of the movie is?
You guys nailed like majority of the ones that are more like, political agenda driven. So I love that. So I don't have to bore myself with those ones. I'm gonna do the fun ones then. I feel like all of that kind of like bubbles into what Chad was just saying about survival, but like they take it a step further where it's like, how do you go from just surviving to actually living your life, right? Because like he loses everything. He collects a bunch of weirdos, which I love because I'm a weirdo. And they all have a need to survive, so they all survive together. And he has a reason to continue to live because he's surviving these people, and they're on this journey. But then, like, what happens from there? They conclude it in a really well way where it leaves you to kind of understand what's going on. And for me, the perception is now I can live another life, another journey. It doesn't have to just end, and I don't just have to keep surviving. Right. So that's kind of what I took from it. Same as why other people maybe don't survive like he will, because they're driven by a need. If you have a need that drives you, once that need is no longer there or no longer valid, you have no drive. So you have to have a reason to stay driven. So if you can find a reason to stay driven without needing to stay, you know what I mean? It's like a circle.
Yeah.
So how do you do that without just surviving through life and enjoying the pieces of that is like the deeper conclusion. But I love like I said, collecting a bunch of misfits banding together in this journey of survival, which is cool because it ties in a lot of what I love from like horror or zombie driven movies where that's a key core. But that's why I like Westerns, because it has a lot of that. Starts with revenge and his need to like, satisfy that vice. And then it turns into something, kind of cool, even though he's pretty reluctant to do so. So it's not like an obvious hero, but he's, kind of a hero.
Yeah, he's kind of a reluctant, hero in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Right. Good stuff. Awesome. Jeff, what do you think of the theme?
Ooh, it's hard going last because everybody covers everything.
I know. I'm sorry.
Like the classic ones, revenge. I guess you could maybe say he's kind of building community a little bit as he picks up team members. I don't know what you want to call it, family. What from what I remember, what sticks out to me though is the aftermath of war, and how just because the war has ended and all the newspapers, well, maybe not so many newspapers back then, even though they had them. Everyone's like, "Yay, peace!" and the confetti flies, and the war is over. It is far from over. Far from over. Just because the shooting has stopped doesn't mean that years, like decades of suffering and messed up, horribly destroyed relationships are still going to suffer for a long time. So I'll say, I'll say definitely, I guess, revenge and overall, like the the reality of the aftermath of war.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like a lot of a lot like because it's not just like especially like a war that pitted Americans against Americans. It's kind of hard to heal that. Like the guys, like you see it in the guys when they're like turning their weapons in. He's like, wait a minute, why do we have to apologize to these guys? I think they owe us an apology. And like why do they have to? And they give them the indignity of having to surrender to these other like guerrillas. They're like they see things like beneath them. But I love the aspect of the found family thing, like because you know how they say sometimes you can't
Bro, you're so weird.
you choose your
Friends.
family, right, or your friends, yeah, but you can't choose your family. But in a way, they kind of became this like island of misfit toys, and they come together like over this guy Josey Wales. It's like, well, just follow me. We're going on down. He said he kind of makes it. Did he say something about it? Well, you might as well join up with us. We already got enough damn people with us or something. He says we have a whole caravan coming.
But
from
he
Texas.
loves it.
Yeah, and he kind of like, but when he starts feeling like home again, like Sabrina, you feel like he gets this itch, like I got to leave. I'm gonna like. I think he feels like he's gonna endanger these people if he keeps.
Yeah, he starts caring about them. He starts really having,
And that just like.
Dependence.
Well,
And
you could tell he was having like flashbacks. Once he would start relaxing, he would have flashbacks of the war, of his family getting slaughtered, like, some PTSD stuff.
It was like haunting him.
Yeah. So there's still lingering effects, and I think vengeance was his first thing. It was the thing that kept him warm at first, so to speak. Like there's a great quote in the movie Red Dawn. When C. Thomas Howell is just like he's like putting notches on his gun, how many people he kills, and Powers Booth tells him, "All that hate's gonna burn you up one day, son." He's like, "It keeps me warm." But I think like for a while that kind of carried him was this vengeance thing, but then he realized what they took from him, it didn't matter how many people he killed, it was never going to bring his family back. And it was time to like start living in the here and now, like maybe see what we can carve out for ourselves of what's left, because we tried it the other way, it didn't work out too well. And also it's kind of like all these people are all broken individuals by something. They've been broken by something, like Granny and her daughter and all of those people. They tried to go out there because they were hoping for another life. Because if you remember the Granny, she says, "I never." Remember when Chief Dan George is like, "I was talking to the old lady and she's never had a home to call her own." So all these people that brought together, like the people in the towns went under. They ain't got nothing going on, and it's just I don't know. It's just kind of like sometimes the family isn't the family you're born with; it's the family you find. So I think it's kind of like he found a surrogate family along the way after he lost his actual blood family, But that's what I see in it. But I thought, well, this one's been a longer show than I planned on it being, so I apologize, guys. But we'll go ahead and rate the movie. John, what is your ranking? 1 to 5.
I think in the end, this is like a 3.54, somewhere in that range for me. It's not the top tier, but it is very entertaining. It does have some interesting scenes to really expand on the genre a little bit, and it's an alternate perspective. Especially at this time, you did not get a lot of movies including Native American actors giving interesting perspectives on Native American stories. So there's this bold stroke to have several characters in several scenes played by Native Americans, speaking truth to power about the Native American experience. So yeah, I love those moments, and I think they play to this day. I think they play really well. And then, lots of great lines and moments. Dying ain't much of a living boy is a great line, and he just smokes that guy, and you're like, yeah, get him, Eastwood. So it's got those moments going for it too. So somewhere in that 3, 5, 4 range for me. And I dropped my list of my favorite westerns. JSS is dropping some great bangers in the chat. I feel like Lonesome Dove, because it was a TV miniseries, gets forgotten, and it is based on a truly magnificent Pulitzer Prize winning book by the same writer who wrote Brokeback Mountain, if you can believe it. Really great novelist.
Don't forget the movie Shane. The movie Shane.
Shane is great. I think High Noon is to Sabrina's point. This is a lot of westerns are long. High Noon is a great western. It's all in real time. It's all like a short. It's like a short 90-minute, like real time. It follows a character, building towards the big gunfight. High Noon is great.
I want to talk about the man that
shot
Liberty Valance. The man who shot.
Yes, Quick and the Dead. Nice, Sam Raimi. Yeah.
The man that shot Liberty Valance has one of the greatest quotes of a movie. When you confronted with the truth and the legend, print the legend.
Yep. And it's one of the rare movies where I think John Wayne has a real tragic storyline, which I think it speaks a little bit more deeply than his typical hero stuff. And James Stewart is a champion of westerns. He doesn't get enough love. He's great in that movie.
Oh my God! Have you ever seen the Winchester 73?
Great movie. Yeah, he's got a lot of good westerns. Again, he's in The Shootist with John Wayne as well. I think Jimmy Stewart's an underappreciated western performer.
And there's so many. We'll get into it though next year. There's going to be plenty more. Like I'm going to keep doing this. This is going to be a yearly thing. So thanks, John. I'm going to say you said 3, 5, and 4. I'm just going to say 4. We're going to round it off to 4 because this is my show. So, Fable, what is your ranking of this movie, 1 to 5?
I think I enjoyed it. I'm starting to appreciate Clint Eastwood a lot more and what he's done for the genre. His influence on everything. I mean, the guy is he's just an icon, bro. Point blank, period. Like he may be the same guy in every movie, but I'll take it, bro. I don't give a shit. Like, give me more of that dude. This movie though is not as. It's a good story. It starts off a little slow for me, but in the end, I end up really being endeared to it from the characters and the relationships and stuff like that. But I don't think it really. I don't know. It doesn't impact as much as the other two that I've seen so far, right? I know there's so many. You guys have given me a list. Trust me, I'm writing all this shit down. But out of what I've seen, this is the least impactful of the three. The least iconic, I would say, right? Like the other ones have things in it that is just like whoa, bold, daring. Just the violence in Wild Bunch, I think, is just daring for the time. 68. The music and the neo-noir aspects of Good, Bad, and the Ugly. You know what I mean? It just there's a big style to those movies that it just quite isn't here. This is just a good, quaint story. But I still enjoy it. I think it's a solid movie, so I'm going to go 4.
All right, thank you. We got a 4. That's a good solid score. Chad, what do you rank this movie 1 to 5?
Well, again, it has some detractors going for it, but like Fable said, like we've all talked about, it's got a great story, some great heartfelt stuff. There's a lot of positives about this movie, which is why I've watched it multiple times. So I'm gonna go the 4.
All right, we got another 4. We got 4s across the board so far. Sabrina, what do you rate this movie 1 to 5?
I'm a 3.5.
Okay.
Otherwise a 3, honestly, but it's the characters. I do like a character-driven film. It's a very emotional film, I feel like. So I can get behind that, and I do like a good, long, healthy Western. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got 3.5 from Sabrina. Jeff, what do you rate this one?
Well, I'm biased because I grew up on Clint Eastwood westerns, so 4.5.
Okay, 4.5. And I'm just gonna be honest with you guys up front. I am very biased, especially when it comes to this film, because I grew up watching this movie with my dad. It's one of my dad's favorite movies to watch when I was growing up. Like, this is one of the ones I kind of like because I just kind of enjoyed watching Dad's reaction because he loves Chief Dan George, who was also in the Dustin Hoffman Little Big Man. But my dad will be the kind of guy, if you're watching a Western with him, oh, you see that guy right there? He was also in like, he'll tell you what all the other Westerns he was in. He was also in the Audie Murphy movie. My dad knows things about Westerns I don't even know.
That's my that's my kind of that's the kind of film fan I am. Oh yeah, did you know that guy's in this and this and that? Yeah.
Like, he's always talks about like this, like little details like that. And like, I think if my dad had been born in a different time, he would have been a cowboy. Or he would have been in that time period. He would have loved it. But yeah, and this movie, interesting enough, came out the year I was born. So, and my birthday's coming up, so I'm getting ready to turn 50, and this movie just turned 50 this year.
Happy early birthday!
Yeah, when's your birthday, Matt?
September 7th.
Wow. Hey, I'm 1 year behind you. I'm just chasing
That's
you.
crazy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so like
You're a Virgo.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
2 of my favorite movies came out in '76. I want to say Taxi Driver came out in '76 as well.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Rocky came out in '76, which I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm a Rocky story to still be here. So 50 years old, I feel like, to quote Mickey Mantle, if I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. But I give this movie a 5. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. I'm not good at average. If we had Robbie here, we could get him doing average, but we were on a perfect 5 for 5 streak with every movie until he hit this one. But this one, like, I can see the criticism, but like I said, I'm totally biased, so I give it an extra point bump. Normally, I may have given it a 4, but like, I just think there's so many.
Then I'll give it a 4. You talk.
Don't do it. Don't break.
No, stick to your guns.
Hold it, Christina.
No,
hold
I wanna
or,
give it a
Sabrina.
4.
Hold it, Sabrina. Stay strong.
Stick to your guns. It's cool.
Now that you said that,
well, it's okay. Like, I think I see that kind of means I have a blind spot too, because it is not a perfect film. Like, and I think that he learned so much by the time that Unforgiven came around, that yes, Unforgiven is probably his magnum opus, especially magnum opus Western.
but it's because of this film.
Yeah, it was because of all these films, like this movie, Pale Rider, High Plains Drifter, all these movies. I think he probably learned a lesson from every Western he made, and it culminated in all that knowledge.
Love Pale Rider.
Yeah. And
he's like the godfather of Western.
But the thing about Pale Rider, see, is like Pale Rider is kind of like an improvement on High Plains Drifter, because High Plains Drifter is almost the same exact plot, but I think it's done better in Pale Rider, right? So, but you'll see a lot of Westerns, like the Western Rio Bravo by Howard Hawks. He remade the same movie, like, was it 5 years later? And I think it was called Rio Diablo. But they just changed
El Dorado.
El Dorado. Okay.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Because like Dean Martin plays the drunk gunfighter in Rio Bravo, but in the other one, El Dorado, it's played by Robert Mitchum. Same character, different actors, all. But anyway, and then James Caan plays the character that Ricky Nelson plays in Rio Bravo. All right. Anyway, okay, I'm digressing. I give it a 5. I don't know what the average is, but I think John's got me a Rocky movies of '76, Taxi Driver, All the President's Men, Rocky, Bad News Bears,
The
Shootist, and Josey Wales. So that was my birthday year. So that's a pretty good. You know what I need to do? I need to go back and watch the rest of these movies this year.
I rewatched President's Men. That movie's powerful. Obviously, we're in an era of like journalism versus presidency, and I think it's very powerful and relatable, and great performances. And yeah, and now that we know who Deep Throat was, the actual informant.
Yeah.
You know, that's all come out and been given truth. It adds a little more meaning.
Also, interesting enough, speaking of movies about the media, another movie came out in 1976. I just realized.
Network.
It's
Yes, I didn't mention it. I was like, how long that comment was going to be.
But when it came out, people were like, "This is an exaggeration. Media is nothing like this." It is now. It is now.
It's so accurate. Yeah.
And if you've never seen Network, highly recommend. It's where you get the great line, "I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore." It's also got William Holden, who was in the Wild Bunch.
Faye Dunaway, yeah,
and Robert Duvall.
What's the recent one that was a movie about the news team that shed the light on the Catholic Church?
Spotlight.
A
phenomenal film. Yeah,
Spotlight.
phenomenal.
Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton. Yeah,
that one grabbed me and just held on in a stranglehold the whole way.
It's one of my favorite Oscar Best Picture winners in the last 20 years. It's just so good. Spectacular.
Did anybody ever watch Good Night and Good Luck?
Oh yeah.
Morrow, Edward
Clooney.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, okay, we're good. I kind of go all over the place, but we got I just want to give a shout out to all these great people for being here tonight. I do have some stuff coming up. Sunday we'll be talking about the new comic book day previews. I think I want to redo that thumbnail though. I don't like that. And tomorrow night we'll be hanging out on the Comic Lounge. I think it may be a shorter show tomorrow night, but I'm really bummed out with my thumbnails this week. You can tell I had a bad headache when I made these or something. All right. And then next week, I'll start my part of Horror Fest with one of my favorite David Cronenberg films, maybe one of my favorite films of the 80s. Maybe I'm a little bit of a weirdo, though. Videodrome, starring James Woods and Deborah Harry. Although I don't personally like much of James Woods' personal life, but he was one hell of an actor. I will give him that. And of course, I'm not the only one involved in this thing. We got Chad and Fable are going to be joining in October, but for now, here's the September and August list. I think we got Robbie gets a little overzealous and starts in August, but it's okay. We still love him. But we got some great movies. If you look at this list, I don't know if you can read all those, but. And then we got Fable. You're going to be jumping in October. And so is Chad. And we got, Dust Till Dawn. As soon as you wrote that one down there, I was like, I got to be involved in that one. I got to be involved in that one. And as far as I know, I'll have to check with him again. But this is going to be probably my last episode of this show. And I'm going to, Comic Conversations is probably going to take a hiatus after this for a while. But I'll be interviewing Dave from West Coast Avengers. Should be fun. One of the first channels I started watching when I first got involved in YouTube. And I think that's all I got. I did have a video come out today about Amazing Spider-Man 300. And I have a preview video coming out Friday about Amazing Spider-Man issue 1000 coming up. But you can check all that out on my channel. John, what do you got coming up?
My Saturday morning show is probably going to be spent just talking about Gone Too Soon. We got so many people in the last week, even Hayden Panettiere. Like, what the hell? Like, it is a brutal week of, some people that did a lot of good in their lives, but have been gone too soon. So that's my Saturday show. I drop a video every Thursday. So there's something coming out every Thursday to chat about whatever I'm watching. Of course, Saturday, I'll probably talk about all the good shows. There's a ton of great TV happening right now between Ted Lasso coming back and Lanterns is popping off and Reacher is back and a lot of great TV happening. So I'll run through all the good stuff.
All right, John, again, thanks for being here. I know there was more people than I led you to believe. But
you tricked me, but so did Fable, because apparently I'm part of Horror Fest now. He's got me watching Korean horror over here. This guy.
Said you're gonna be in Horror Fest.
He didn't even give me a choice. He's like, John, here's the list, but you're doing this one. You're doing that one.
Well, I kind of told you, I kind of did it to you too, because you did. You picked Something Wicked This Way Comes.
I love that movie. Yeah, I'm hyped on that too, for sure.
Although we were doing the body count thing, and I looked it up, and I don't think anybody dies in it, but it's still scary
Spoiler.
as hell. Yeah. But anyway, it's all right. Everybody say that.
It's my pleasure, man. Always good fun.
All right. Fable, what do you got coming up, brother?
Well, you know, Horror Fest is in full swing. Like you said, Robbie can't get enough of himself. He starts so super early. But this past Sunday, if you want to catch the rewind, we were on Dylan's Horror Show. We did the movie Sinners, which is a fantastic modern horror movie, man.
I love that movie.
Then on Robbie's channel on Monday, we did Phantasm, the first Phantasm movie. Tomorrow night, Blood Splatter Chatter. We're doing The Prince of Darkness from John Carpenter. Check that out. And then we're going to finish up this Sunday, which I'll be on that one, The Autopsy of Jane Doe. So yeah, man, catch us all through Horror Fest. Me, Matt, Chad, Robbie, Verno, and Dylan, man. 6 channels involved, 69 movies. And you know I love that number, right? 69 dudes. 8 shit. Oh yeah.
Star 69.
I think I'll be back. The next one I'm reviewing will be Motel. After Videodrome is Motel Hell. Which actually stars another guy who did a lot of westerns, Rory Calhoun.
Yeah.
All right. Chad, what do you got coming up on your channel?
I don't tentatively have much appearances wise. I'm looking forward to starting my portion of Horror Fest and being on some more. The next one I'm going to be on is Monday night. PCP movie night is Horror of Dracula. I'm a big Hammer horror fan, and Christopher Lee is my ultimate Dracula, so I'm excited to get down and talk some Hammer horror. I'm working on a bunch of videos, editing from StatueCon, interviews and shorts and stuff. So look out for that. And I'm creeping up on 200 subscribers. Grateful for that.
Let's go.
It's been a grind, but with all these great people's help, you know, we're getting there. So,
all right,
yeah, you can find me everywhere.
All right. Thanks, Chad. I appreciate it, man. Been awesome getting to know you this last year, bro. And everybody, please give a subscription if you're not subscribed. Appreciate you being here, man. And I regret not being on that one. When I saw that, I didn't realize it was a Hammer film. I guess I didn't immediately recognize the title. I saw Robbie post it. I said, damn, I really regret not picking that one. But maybe next time I'll get a Hammer one. Okay, Sabrina, what do you got coming up? I know you got a show on Saturdays.
Yeah, when we go on some Saturdays, so we try to let everybody know ahead of time. I think the next one will definitely be coming up here soon because we took a couple weekends off, and then sometimes we're like every weekend in a row. And then whenever you guys have me on, I'll join those shows. So kind of like Chad, I'm tentative right now. I'm just kind of hanging out. I've had a lot going on, but I do stay pretty consistent on my little TikTok adventure. So I stay on that a lot, but I am, coming back on Instagram a little bit and YouTube. So I'll be around.
Awesome.
You'll see me.
And
unfortunately for you.
Oh, no. That's bullshit. We got to have you around. But I appreciate you being here. Big Jeff, I know you can usually find you hanging around on my channel or Matt Spidey's but we did talk you into doing a live stream like a few weeks ago. So Fables did. So maybe we can get him to do another one here soon.
Most progressive, transgressive, new live on the YouTubes, man.
It was a super secret war, Crisis on Infinite Earths, absolute ultimate stream.
It's awesome.
That's right. You never know.
Yeah. All right, but Jeff, I appreciate you being here, man. So I appreciate it, and well, I guess that's about it. But I will leave you with this quote from Dolly Parton. Find out who you are and do it on purpose. See you guys later.